Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. This is Joe Shoup. We have a really special day. Good morning, Shirley. Good morning, Claudia. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Great.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. We have a great day. Good morning, Shirley. And thanks for being here, everybody. And let me give you a few little heads up here. We're going to have a couple segments here today, and it's Tuesday, August the 15th. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Shirley's handling admin, and she'll be able to handle that for you. If you have anything you need to reach us for, you can go to the Breakfast Club broadcast at gmail.com in case you have any, questions about anything, I guess, that are not answered here. And also, Colleen is watching things in the background as well. So we have a big day because let me tell you, we have the main topic today is collaboration. And it's really important because when communicating with people, there's a process in communicating. And it's I talk, you listen, and you say, okay, I heard what you said, and this is what I heard. And then I say, yes, that is exactly what I said. Now we've communicated. Now we have a method, a process. Now then you say something, I hear it, and we confirm that that's what has taken place. That's called communication. Now, in order to collaborate properly, you have to be a good communicator. You have to work together, and that's what it means. I sent that notice out about what collaboration was. It's about people basically giving opinions, giving ideas, but being able to accept that maybe your idea isn't as good as you thought it was. Maybe other people don't see it that way. And so it's important when you're speaking with people and communicating and you're collaborating on a project or on a process, you make sure that those elements are there. And so that brings us to the fact that, the company that we're with today, the founder and owner of Power of Three Squared, of 7 Rings of Wealth and Wisdom, and other companies that we have, it's very important that you have a leader and a founder who is willing to communicate and willing to collaborate with you. And when that occurs, and I've had that happen maybe once or twice in 20-some years, JC, and that was it. And now we do have a founder. We have somebody who listens, who says, you know what, I honor your opinions. I might not agree with you, but I want to listen. So we do have that, and I'm excited about that. And I think Colleen knows that. I mean, Claudia knows that. She knows from the conversations we've had in the last couple of weeks. So let me just bring you up to speed. Some of you realize, there's a marketing team here now, and it's Claudia, myself, Craig Hawkins, who are working together. And what we're doing is we're developing a really, really nice professional website for Power of Three Squared. And we are at the tail end of it. So we're going to talk about that later. But we've been collaborating with this stuff. That's the important part of it, is that we work well together. JC and Mark had asked me if we would take on that project. And so Claudia and myself and Craig, again, we put our heads together, and we didn't always agree on things, but we put it together to come up with a professional presentation, a professional website, and we'll be presenting that later. Not today, but that will be coming soon. And then, of course, everybody knows that, companies, when you have building a company, when you have a business, there's always change. Change always occurs. And in fact, the two constants in life in general are loss and change. They're the two things that happen all the time, and you have to learn how to deal with those. So we had a little bit of a change over the last maybe 3-4 weeks. We had JC, and he's going to tell you about that. We had a little bit of a change we needed to make in 7 Rings of Wealth. I would have to get into detail, but we needed change. So JC, Mark, and the corporate team decided that we need to put this on hold and asked a few people, let's put our minds together and see how we can come up with a solution. And ironically, it took a few times, a few suggestions and meetings and so on. And because of the meetings that took place, the collaboration between Craig, myself, Claudia, a few other people, ideas started to spurt out. And this collaboration resulted in a logical conclusion, which we then brought to JC, and of course he's going to tell you about that. We are not going to tell you today what it is. We're not going to show you anything. We're only going to tell you that it's coming. And when we took it to JC, we said, oh my gosh, take a look. And I have to tell you that the person who said, what if we did this? During all those conversations, it was Craig Hawkins who said, what if we did this? And I went, oh my gosh, JC would love this. So after we, talked about it for a while or a day or two and looked it over and said, I think let's go there. And this is the important part of the collaboration, because now you have an owner who says, I am willing to listen. Let me sit down and hear what you have, and let's see what we can work with. We knew if he saw this, that he was the guy who could put the comp plan together for it. And that's exactly what he does. He knows how to do that. I have no clue, JC, how to do those things. And that's why the team, it's very important that everybody has their strengths. So when we brought that over and he said, oh my gosh, I see it. You guys give me a chance to go do this, this, and this. And I can tell you, it's mind-boggling what he put together. And so, again, I'm not going to tell you about it. I just want him to tell you his story, where we got here, why we're here, and, where we're going to be from now. So, the founder, the guy the person who thought this process up of 7 rings and power of 3 and be able to create a pay-it-forward system that no one's ever seen before, which was creating a global explosion, it is James or JC Hill. And so, JC, as the founder and I of the company, we appreciate you. I want to thank you for being here today and just giving us a little tidbit of what's coming.
Happy to be here. I'm hearing a little echo, but I'm not going to worry about it because maybe they're not hearing the echo.
Yeah, we don't hear it.
It went away. Okay. I got to tell you that, yes, in my collaboration with Craig and Joseph, I went into it with the absolute determination to listen. And we had to set a few basic, rules in how we approach that collaboration. But that happened easily, and I absorbed. And thank God that they came up with the idea. Craig, I assume, came up with this idea because I hadn't thought of it. And I'm all the time looking for solutions, and I don't get very emotional. I don't have time for emotion. Okay, to me, especially if you're on the depressed side or the negative emotions, they are very costly. So I don't spend time doing that. I'm constantly looking for a solution, and I've never had an ego issue where I don't listen. Okay, and value other people's opinion. In fact, where I am today is because I listen to other people. I learn from other people, and I think that's probably the case for everybody. You learn in life by observing, listening to your teachers, whatever, when you're young. And I was taught something in that call that immediately started turning on the electrodes in my brain, and I ran with it very fast, and ultimately, and I've been refining it over the last few days, and I will tell you that what we have now and we are working on, I'm not going to tell you how long it will take. It will be less time than you think, okay? But we will have an amazing, absolute amazing solution. And I got to tell you that I usually allow myself about 3 hours of emotion, and my stomach was upside down when we had determined that 7 rings of wealth and wisdom was not going to work the way it was. Not for the company, not for the members. And it was just something that, because it had not been done before like we were doing it, it was just too hard to project. We don't have artificial intelligent computers that can analyze, but Dr. Needham is fairly close to that. And he kept telling me for 6 weeks that there was a real problem. And I was saying to myself, okay, that he just isn't seeing this. Okay. Well, he did. He constantly surprises me of how brilliant this man is. He doesn't wear it on his coattail or on his sleeve. He is just so down to earth that and homely, if you not homely, but just a grounded person that it's hard to envision him being as brilliant as he is. And so he surprises me sometimes. But by golly, he was right. And he finally got Mark and I to sit down and see the problems, and they were massive. But my stomach was upset for a few hours, and I said, okay, enough depression, enough grieving. Okay, my baby, I got to put it to rest. And we got to come up with a solution. Okay, so the intent was never to have it go anywhere. We just needed some time to figure out what we could possibly do. Well, in that time frame, we came up with a program that we made program 2 called Good Now. I'm going to tell you just this much. Okay, this is the only insight I'm going to give you on this call. Okay, is that if you want to build 7 rings, you should be building good now like there's no tomorrow. Okay, and I'll just leave it at that. We're going to have a call at 2 o'clock this afternoon for Good Now. All of you should have gotten that newsletter. If you need to log into Good Now, just simply go log in with your same credentials that you had with 7 rings, same username, same password. The URL is good, like GOOD, now, NOW, .solutions, not .com, .solutions. And you go click on login, use your username and password. Everybody was ported over. Every single person was ported over from 7 rings into Good Now. But I will tell you that it is not going to be separate. Okay. So that's all the hints I'm going to give you. Be on the call today at 2 o'clock. And for Good Now, and the call at 9:30 tonight, and you will unveil a little bit more. But if you really want the full disclosure, be on tomorrow night's call at 9:30, and you'll know the whole thing. And we'll probably let the people know in 7 rings through a notification there that they need to come to the Good Now call tomorrow night, okay, if they want to have the whole thing unveiled, okay, as to the future of 7 rings. And I have to tell you, I am almost giddy with excitement. And I'm telling you, I don't get too emotional. My emotions are about as straight line as you could possibly imagine. Okay, but I'm almost giddy with this. This is crazy. I'll say one more thing about the future of where we're going, and I mean this not figuratively, but literally. We are turning the whole network marketing concept and approach upside down.
All righty. Well, I think that's good. I want to clarify one thing because you said it, and you said that Good Now Solutions will not be separate, and that simply means that it will be part of 7 rings. Is that correct? It should be the first program, right?
Well, that's all. I wasn't going to give them that much.
I'm sorry. Well, you did say it.
You let that out of the bag.
Well, you did say it. You said it wouldn't be separate.
If you wanted to build It's okay. It's all right. If you want to build 7 rings, go build good now, right now,
Yeah.
and take my word for it.
Yeah.
Trust me. We sent out a newsletter last night, and I hope most of you got it. I don't like email. I can't wait for Shout App to come out so that we can have really good communications with the field. But nevertheless, it was sent. Okay, we said that we would, take our word for it. Build good now. That was the last paragraph of what was sent out.
Yep, it was great too. It's a great letter. Thanks. Well, look, thanks for coming today. I know your day is busy. I thank you I wanted to make sure that people understood that where we were with this and how hard you've been working on that. And we're good to go. So we appreciate all this from you. Thank you.
You're going to need to be patient, but I will tell you that it isn't going to be extremely long for us to get this ship turned around.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. That brings us to, yep. You're welcome. That brings us to topic 2 here. Let me say this. A lot of you don't know who Claudia is. Some of you do, I assume. But I probably in the last year I have communicated. We've become friends. We've worked on projects together. We have communicated. She is a student of the communication class, and I can tell you that this is a successful businesswoman who has a successful business at Amazon. One of the things that attracted me was, and I'll say this, I don't normally say this on the Breakfast Club, but there are 2 kinds of people in this world. And that's how I evaluate people. When I decide on which relationship I want to nurture, the thing that I look at most of all is, what type of person is this? Am I talking to someone who is self-centered, or are they other, O-T-H-E-R, centered? They're the 2 basic things that I look at. Who are they really when it comes down to the core of the person? Because self-centered people, which probably many, they're hard to deal with. They're difficult to collaborate with. But other-centered people think of others in their decisions. And it doesn't always mean, well, I'm always going to do what the other person wants. That's not what that means. But I look at those 2 traits, and it takes a while to identify who that person is. What traits are they carrying? Are they other-centered? Are they self-centered? And I can tell you, over the months, over the last year, just talking, and it struck me probably 6 weeks in, maybe earlier than that, but certainly you have to keep going with the relationship and communicating and so on to find out who they are. Where are they? What are they doing in life? What are they participating in? And I can tell you, it was extremely important for that to be the foundation of the relationship for me. And I discovered that in her. And so I started working with her. And when JC said to me, and Mark said, look, we want you to head a marketing team, and we'd like you to put this stuff together. So I had to think about a team. The first person that came to my mind was Claudia. I have to, because I knew her business skills. I knew she thought about people. I knew with her creativity, all this process of learning each other, I noticed creativity. I noticed the concern for others. I saw the business aspect of her. And I said, you know what? This is the person who should be working with us. Let's go in and design it. And when you see what's taking place here in the new website, you're going to see where this comes from. And Craig Hawkins is the same way. I decided on Craig. I asked both of them, would you like to be part of this? And they both jumped on it immediately. And it was the same thing with Craig. He cares about other people. He wanted to be able to participate. He wanted to help other people and get a really cool website. And so we have been collaborating for weeks and weeks, deciding. And it's not just putting up an image to say, this is what our website looks like. It takes a thought process. It takes language. You have to get text on the page. You have to say, what do we want to say? How do we want to say it? What words come into play? And I can tell you that when you see this website, much of the words that are on this page came out of this young lady's head, because she was able to think the process through and say, okay, I got this. What do you guys got? And we looked at it. And yeah, we made a little adjustments here, but that was the important part also, that anything that she presented, I was able to say, no, I think we should do this. Or things that I presented, or Craig, they were able to say, no, Joe, I don't think you should do that. I think we should look at it over here. No one got insulted. No one really had a problem with it. We all looked at it objectively and said, let's pick the best thing for everybody. And that's what we did. But I can tell you that a lot of this information came out of their heads. And Claudia she wrote the entire, well, you'll see the areas that we speak about on the website. The website is plain, it's simple, it's easy to understand. When a person goes to it, they're going to be able to see what the company's about, what the PIF system is about, and so on. So with that, Claudia, I am honored to be a business partner with you. It is just exciting to work with you. We have worked so well together along with Craig for the last 5 weeks or so, and it's exciting. So thank you for being here, and welcome to the Breakfast Club.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you perfectly.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. That was so kind of you to say these things. And I just want to say that I am so excited and thrilled to be part of this process and to be working with you and Craig in this really creative thought process and co-creation. I love the word co-creation because that's truly what it is. We all co-create really together, and it's a beautiful thing when it just it just is something that you cannot even really plan. You know, it's when people start working together and they're really open their minds to a common goal, then there are things that just come through, and it's almost like it's a little bit magical too. And you maybe have heard of or probably most of you know the masterminding process, or just creatively coming together as a group and for common projects. And this is really what happened. And we didn't really plan this. It just fell into place because we talked about things that we weren't really in agreement with, and that really didn't make sense or weren't really speaking to what we really are about, like specifically in our case, the website of Power 3 Squared. And there was something that always struck me. I thought, this is so much more of what's being presented on that website. It doesn't really tell the story. And I kept talking about this with Joe, and then he said, maybe we need to make some changes here. It just doesn't really speak to what we want and what we are truly. And that's how it all started from that point forward. And we became the marketing team, and since then it's been probably 2-3 months now, maybe. I don't even know, lose track of time, but so much fell into place from there on, and it really was exciting, and I'm absolutely thrilled and looking forward to getting this out in the world, and can't wait for all of you to see this, what we were able to put together. And I think it really will tell the story, and it really will open people's minds, and without really so many words to it. Of course, there will be explanations and some text and some descriptions, but it's just it will be very different. You'll see. I don't want to talk too much about it, but what I want to say is the beauty of when we came together, the three of us, and collaborated, because the topic of today's call is really collaboration. And that's what I find is so important in life, to stay open to the process. As Joe, you said that, we weren't always in agreement with everything we came up with, but we just were open to finding the best solution and come to a mutual agreement, and it felt right when we knew it was the right thing. It just felt right for all of us, and that's how it really is.
Yeah.
And we need to put our egos aside, you know, in that way too, and really just stay in our hearts, really, as well, in our hearts and on our open minds, to let this come through and allow the process to happen. And that's
okay.
my little bit to that.
Yeah, let me. I don't want to give away too much. We have a few more minutes left, and I want to just say that you were exactly right when Claudia said to us that the website, existing one, isn't telling our story properly. It doesn't say what we want it to say, and that's where it started with. Okay, then let's say it right. Let's go in here and tell about the company. And then when you see the website, we'll give you a little bit of a hint. When you see the website, there'll be areas you'll go to. And it'll say about the company, about Power of Three Squared. It'll say the Pay It Forward system. It'll say cooperative enterprise. It'll say it'll show the income streams. Those 4 areas will be covered effectively on there. But I can tell you, when you open the web page, and we're working with the web designer tonight, the programmer, and when you see the opening page, I think you're going to be probably somewhat stunned. And so why don't you just talk a little bit about the excitement about how that's going to look without telling them what it is.
You asking me to tell what it's going to look?
I'm just, just a little bit of information about,
well, without giving it away, it will be very, very different. It won't even go into like a video, that currently we have a video with a slideshow on the Power 3 website. It won't be any of that. It will be an explanation when you go there, without a PowerPoint slideshow. But it will be like it will bring you, let's put it this way. It will just bring people into an imaginary journey. It really will I don't know. It's like opening your mind. Let people imagine what we want to do for the world and for other people.
That's what
right? Would you agree with that?
Oh, that's exactly what I was waiting for you to say. It was what we're going to take people through, that imagination. Just imagine this, and the visual. Yes. When you actually see the visual, I mean, I got goosebumps when I saw it, and said, "Oh my gosh!" And once again, Craig said, "What about this one?"
Yeah,
and it was we had lots of ideas. Claudia had some things. I had some ideas that I wasn't thrilled about, but I was actually happy with it. And then when Craig said, "Look, this one's really special. I mean, people are going to look at it. It's so professional. This is so beautiful, and it's going to be. And people can't just imagine what it is." I had talked.
and one thing also I'd like to add is, we want to get people in touch with their, as we already said, their own imagination and their ability to dream and to think big and to allow themselves to go there in their minds, because this is what we really want to represent. We don't want to be like some other kind of business opportunity out there. There's so many, countless out there, right? But no, we want to help people really go into that. Wow, this is truly something very different and industry altering almost, because it's a completely different concept, completely different model and structure, and it truly will impact the world. I mean, we need to allow ourselves to go there as dreamers, as visionaries, as big thinkers, as people that want to impact the planet in a better way, in a positive way, and help many, many people out there that need this. So, and I think we have found this that really will represent this idea and this idea and this goal.
Yeah, I do think it will represent it. I think people will see it immediately, and that's what we were trying to get across, is that what you will see, what you hear, what the company is about, will be able to represent now on this new website. So with that, Claudia, thanks for being here and sharing your information. And we'll be working some more today on this, and should be done. By the way, people are going, well, when is it going to be ready? We always get that. And I'm pretty sure by the end of the week, we're going to have it all. I don't know that it's going to say, here it is, hand it to you. I'm not sure that it'll be switched over, but I'm pretty sure by the end of the week, by Friday, we should have all the glitches, all the proofreading. And by the way, we have a team of 4 to 5 proofreaders, including Shirley and Colleen and a handful of people, Mike. And we have people that are going to be going over this over and over and over again to make sure that our words, our documents, our texts are all in order. So we won't have to go back to that. But so we'll be pretty excited. I would say by Friday, we're going to at least say, we've got it. It's ready to go. We're just waiting for the programmer. I think that's where we're going to be. Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Joe. It was great to be on and chatting about this with you, letting people know, because we are as excited as you are.
Yeah, we're gonna have you back again. I'm sure I'm going to get requests. Everybody's wondering who you were to begin with, our special guest, and now they know. And we'll be back again. We'll be explaining the website when it comes up. We'll get JC and all and go through this, and we will look forward to being back here again. So, Claudia, thanks again for being here. We appreciate you. Shirley, as always, thanks for the administration portion of this. We appreciate you. And JC, thanks for being here. And for everybody out there, sit tight, be a little patient. We're working on these things. They're going to be back in place and in place. And we will look forward to seeing you again next week on the Breakfast Club. But don't forget about today, the calls that JC mentioned, to get more information about 7 Rings of Wealth and Wisdom. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again at the Breakfast Club.